In July of last year, before I left for college, I commissioned my friend and custom maker Ffarquhar to make some modifications on some of my current models and make new characters out of duplicate models. I ended up sending her 2 different packages. The first package included my Sir Handel, Oliver, Mavis, Stepney, Boco, Arie Bert, 2 used Diesel 10s, a used Nelson, a broken Gordon, a Shapeways shell, and a Playrail EF66. That package was sent out in late July. However, Ffarquhar insisted I send him more engines to fix up in order to make Season 2 look as professional as possible, and I agreed given that the modifications in the second package would be much easier and cheaper. So I sent out a second package with about 7 engines in mid-August, about a week before I left for college. This second package included my Peter, Sam, Donald, Douglas, Bill, Ben, Splatter, and Dodge. After months of hard work and progress, in January, one big package returned home with all of the customs and modifications. So, as a sort of sequel to the unboxing video I did a few weeks back, let's take a look at all of the models individually and talk about the changes that needed to be made. Starting off strong, we have the 2009 Fisher-Price Stepney. At first glance, Stepney looks completely identical to how he looked previously. That's because no paint details were applied or needed to this model. I sent Ffarquhar this model to replace his cracked gear, which caused his wheels to run freely when turned on. In addition, I lost the mold for Stepney's middle wheels when I moved house. This also happened to my Duck and my Stanley. Ffarquhar was generous enough to send me the middle mold from his childhood Stepney to use. I'm incredibly grateful for this, and I'm so excited to use him in Season 2. And here we have my 2009 Fisher-Price Peter Sam. Like Stepney, not much was needed with this model. Some faded paint and paint chips were fixed up, and his broken coupling cylinder was replaced by a screwdriver, allowing a coupling to be placed once again. He also has a painted back cab like the early Hit Toys model. Just be warned, it won't be the last time you'll see this change. Continuing along, we have my 2006 Hit Toys Boco. My Boco had endured many paint chips in the face and the roof, so I thought that having those fixed up and getting the eyes and mouth painted would be appropriate. Ffarquhar obliged. He's still really slow, so I intend to replace his motor at some point, but the detailing on him is a vast improvement. He nearly resembles the 2010 model, but with gray wheels instead of black ones. And this is my 2006 Hit Toys Mavis. Mavis also wasn't a daunting task, although repainting her side plate logo was probably a pain. Mine had faded away. That, on top of a few paint chips, made this one of the easier models to complete. Her face was painted with white details, and she was given a matte finish along with the 08 models. I'm very happy with her. She still runs great. I replaced her traction tires a couple years ago, and now all the appropriate details have been placed. She is good and ready to go. Here is my 2008 Hit Toys Arie. Arie was another quick fix. His lighter colored roof isn't a paint chip, but the plastic itself bending, so there wasn't much that could have been done. However, besides that, he looks fresh out of the package. His speed is also improved, but thanks to better batteries and also just being given time to run. He was also given a matte finish, which adds to how incredible the model is. I'm really happy with how he turned out. He's always been a favorite of mine. And here's Bert. Same year, same model. Like Arie, Bert's roof isn't really fixable, but the rest of him looks great. Other than that, the paint chips on his face and cab are long gone. He also has a matte finish, making him look even better. He looks incredible alongside his twin. Splatter and Dodge were both broken when I sent them off to Ffarquhar. Fun fact, I ended up using Arie and Bert's chassis in Boomer's Range so that they could run. Bert's was used more often because he's faster than Arie. However, Ffarquhar was able to replace the motors, and boy do they run. Splatter especially is incredibly fast and strong. He's easily one of my fastest engines now. That on top of some painted face details and a matte finish makes him one of the many upgrades from this commission. Dodge was also broken and his gear was cracked. Upon his return, I swapped his wheels back with my Tommy Diesel, given I had swapped them after Tommy Diesel's wheels had been cracked years prior. With both being fixed, I felt it appropriate to swap them back. Dodge's modifications resemble those of Splatter. Painted face, matte finish, painted in paint chips. He looks great and runs incredibly well. Donald was a bit more difficult paint-wise. Given he's a Hit Toys model from 2006, his face wasn't painted. The handrails were repainted, and Donald's coupling cylinder was replaced by a screw. After that was done, he and Douglas were given a glossy finish, which looks absolutely amazing. The way they glow is phenomenal, and he looks so good under studio lights. To put it blunt, Douglas was a bitch. Given he's technically a knockoff 2012 model, his motor sucks, so it needed to be rebooted or replaced. It was rebooted, and the wheels were realigned to make him run properly. After that was done, his handrails were painted and he was given a glossy finish. I do plan to acquire the 2012 Donald and the Hit Toys / Tommy Douglas at one point, so I have both versions of the twins. I'll send them both to Ffarquhar and decide from there which ones I want to use. It'll probably be the older ones. Bill was the easier of the China Clay twins, let me tell you, but my god, he looks amazing. The back of the cab was painted brown, the cylinders were painted yellow, the running board was painted white, the face details were repainted. I mean, Jesus, he looks totally different now. Easily one of the best from the lineup. Now, if you thought Bill was impressive, getting Ben up to Bill's level is an even greater accomplishment. To put it into perspective, this is what Ben looked like before I sent him off. Buffer beam was cracked, paint details were missing, his back coupling was just, look at this. And here he is now. You'd think nothing was wrong. New coupling, same painted details as before, and a refitted buffer beam. This was easily the biggest surprise to me. An absolutely stunning renovation. Stellar work on this one. And here he is. My favorite Thomas character suffered some wear and tear throughout my childhood and my 9-ish years of possession. His eyebrows were repainted in Sharpie and a lot of his details were either missing or worn. Ffarquhar made him look brand new. Better back cab windows, repainted eyebrows, replaced stickers, everything. He looks incredible and I'm so happy that I can now rebrand my channel with this new model and just make the channel look so much better. When I received the pictures of the commissions all together, Oliver was one of the models I was looking forward to seeing the most. He looks incredible, so much better than the original. All the necessary details are painted, his wheels were repainted green, which is more accurate to the show, some paint fades were refilled, and in addition, his relatively weak motor was given a buff and his strength increased greatly. Plus, rolling stock will be much easier for him now, which is great. Here's Daisy. For those who don't know, this is a Shapeways Daisy mold. It's expensive, very expensive, but it was very worth it. I bought it off of Shapeways and sent it to Ffarquhar, who then printed out a Daisy face and painted all the details. And she looks great. Definitely one of the easier models for Ffarquhar to make, but still impressive nonetheless. And here is Diesel 199. Made from a 2012 Trackmaster Diesel 10, I requested Ffarquhar to keep the shape and face the same to reduce the price of the job. I think he still looks good. He runs great, he's greatly detailed, and I'm very happy with it. I did ask Ffarquhar to keep the face gray because I don't plan on having any engines in the show have yellow or green faces like in the books, so hopefully you all are okay with that too. Here is D261, aka Bowler, aka the Diesel, aka Class 40, aka whatever the hell you want to call him. D261 was made with a beat up, old 2004 Diesel 10. I got him off of eBay for a good price and sent him to Ffarquhar with the rest. I asked Ffarquhar to make the special modifications to D261 because I felt they were more necessary for him, and I am so happy with the result. The face was molded and 3D printed by Ffarquhar, but the initial face was created by user Rexecutions. Huge shout out to him for allowing me to use his D261 face on my model. I am so happy with how he looks. Moving on to the body, the lower flaps were added alongside his overall extension in length. He's a lot longer than D199 or Diesel 10, and I'm very happy with that. The paint was applied, and here he is in his final form. He isn't the best runner, however. His flaps leave him susceptible to getting stuck on the track, especially at curves and points. I might fix this by using a regular Diesel 10 chassis while he's running, but keeping this chassis on while he's standing still. We'll see. Still very happy with this model. He's one of my favorites. Here's a really cool one. Here's Bear, made from a Plarail EF66. Bear was a lot more complicated than you might think. A lot of reshaping needed to be done in order for this model to be possible, and it ended up working. He also needed a molded face, which looks really good too. Now, one thing about EF66 models, they are fast, like hella fast. So Bear is easily the fastest engine in my collection. Very happy with this one. This is the Flying Scotsman. Made from a 2006 Hit Toys Gordon, he might just be my favorite from the whole collection. For reference, this Gordon was broken. The wires were popped and I had no idea if his motor was even alive, but to my surprise, he was fixed up and runs like he used to. Decent speed, decent strength, and he looks amazing. I'm so glad I had this done. The Trackmaster 2 model looks awful. This model looks amazing. More accurate apple green, face is much better, and his tenders are spot on. His first tender is his own wire tender with a modified shape. The second tender is a Spencer tender that I bought alongside the 2012 Diesel 10 used for $199. Hell of a deal if I say so myself. The running board was painted white, the face was painted on, and here he is in his finality. Like I said, he's probably my favorite from the bunch. And to top things off, here is Nigel. For those of you who don't know, Nigel is a scrapped character from the Jack in the Pack spin-off series. He was made using a spare Nelson I bought with a few other of the Pack characters and a 3D printed tender with popsicle sticks used for support. Another favorite of mine, he's up there with Scotsman, Oliver, and D261. And finally, here is a broken Edward. This model is actually owned by Ffarquhar, but I'm going to be using it for Season 2 and then returning it to him. This model looks absolutely incredible. The main highlight here is the side rod that is stuck torn inside the torn side of Edward, like he was portrayed in the books. I'm very excited to use this model, and if you know the Railway series, you should have an idea of what I'm going to use it for. And that's all of them. All in all, these models look absolutely incredible. Ffarquhar did an astounding job on all of these models, and I will definitely be requesting his services again in the future. I do plan to have characters like Derek, Sydney, Norman, and the Coldefell engines in my series, so Ffarquhar is going to have a big role in future seasons. Ffarquhar, I cannot thank you enough for the hard work you put in. Incredible job. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon.